So friends, we are anyways here for this wonderful discussion on architecting the workplace. What we are actually going to discuss is not that, work from home is the new normal. That is all there and that is all done and forgotten by everyone. Now we all know that we have to work, and it is work from anywhere, not even from home, not even from office. Sometimes you may be somewhere else, maybe a COVID center also, who knows. So, but what is more important is what are we learning now new? Where are the new difficulties coming up now? And what is it that we have to look at taking forward from these learnings, and what are the new technologies that are coming up which can make us frictionless as possible, as comfortable, as compliant as possible? Because public sector banks typically had a difficult time, especially because they were not used to the culture of working from home, getting the measurability, getting the kind of things done, getting the time of quality, and also at the same time ensuring that security is at to the highest standards is not an easy thing, because it involves people, process, and technology. And however intelligent the intel is inside, if there is an idiot outside, you can't do anything about it. So you have to work best towards both of that. So let us have this wonderful conversation.
Welcome everyone to an exciting new panel discussion on the topic of architecting the workplace revolution. Truly, these are times where we don't have a choice but to look at a revolutionary solution. So with this brief guideline, let's jump into the introduction. My name is Manoj Agrawal. I'm the group editor at Banking Frontiers magazine, a role that I've been enjoying for the last 19 years and looking for the next 19 years or whatever, by God's grace.
Good evening to all. Really very happy to be part of this wonderful panel discussion with the other eminent panelists. Myself, Babitha. I'm the CISO of CSB Bank. I have almost more than 18 plus years of experience in IT as well as in the security field.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Manoj, and thanks to Banking Frontiers for giving this opportunity. And myself, Reddy. I am CISO of Union Bank of India. This is one of the fifth largest bank in the India. So I take the privilege, for inviting me to this panel discussion. And thank you so much.
Good evening to all. And first of all, thank you to all the panelists who are going to be part of this particular discussion. I am working as a GMIT of Indian Bank, which is 6th largest bank now in the country. Recently, we did amalgamation of Allahabad Bank, which was quite challenging during this time, and a share of my experience, what I had in last 1.5 years, continuous working without any day holiday in the organization. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Ratan Kumar from Central Bank of India. And thank you, Mr. Manoj, for giving this opportunity to participate in this wonderful forum. Look forward for a meaningful interaction.
My name is Prajit Nair. I am responsible for the end user computing business within VMware. And end user computing business division is all about client-side solutions that VMware has to offer. All the security solutions, all the MDM management solutions, all the VDI solutions, all the access management solutions, all that solution is what we look after. And I've been with VMware now for almost close to 14 years. Overall with an industry experience of close to 27, 28 years. And look forward to a very interactive session and hearing what all you have done in your segment and understanding what's latest happening in the segment. So thank you for inviting me and pleasure to be on this panel.
And the first question is actually a very simple question. Just to summarize the scenario today, what employee-facing IT issues have been automated or eliminated during the lockdown? Let's talk only about the major issues. Minor issues are always there and can be taken care of. But what major issues have been automated or eliminated by the IT teams and by the IT security teams from their perspectives during the lockdown? Can we have ladies first? Maybe Babitha can start.
Thank you, Manoj, for the question. And yes, as you rightly said, because with COVID, we started learning the importance of human resource, and we started automating many of the things, especially from the BCP perspective. Earlier, we may not be thinking like we should have a DR automated tool of that kind, where without human intervention itself, the automatic DR should make up. So even a small bank like us also started thinking about that and started working on it. And DR automation is also implemented right now. And when it comes to the end users, as you said, are some IT problems when as you like banks like us, people are not that much well versed with the technology, and work from home kind of culture was not adopted. So in the first wave, only very few people from the IT or security or very critical application teams were allowed to work from home. But due to the current situation, we have to expand it to more number of people. And within this 1 year of time, we have learned a lot. And we got at least some time to explore on the security aspects of work from home, and give additional support to them who are working from home or connecting from home. Even business teams were even given access to work from home. So the situation has changed in such a way that earlier, which we were not into, now we started even thinking, and we given it. We have started giving business team also to work from home kind of thing. Of course, with the expansion of technology, there will be some hindrances like what we right now face with the connectivity issue, logging into the system, maintaining the security posture of the system. All those will always be there. And we have to deploy more people to support them, which is also on the case side. So we have to come up with some training sessions for them, how they can tackle with small things and all. So all those things are taken care parallel.
Okay, that's great. That's good. Mr. Ratan Kumar, could you share in terms of this question, issues that are eliminated at the employee level? And maybe you could divide it into two parts: IT teams and the business and general users. Was it different for them at Central Bank?
Yeah, thank you so much. See, from branches wise, we had not much option actually. Most of the branches with 50% on rotation basis, it was running in the manual form, so we could not change much there. But in IT front, yes, we had certain opportunities to give certain accesses in a virtual mode, so that people could do their work at work from home kind of facilities have been provided. But that also had a lot of cultural issues, as you rightly said. Initial era of things, there were so many glitches happening, and so many disruptions in that. So somehow we could stabilize them now, and but it had put an enormous kind of issues in terms of support. Our support team had to increase to handle these technical glitches, and giving some solutions to the people who are facing problems, these kind of situations. So that's how we manage.
Did you also have to train your Did you have to train your business people also to handle more technology challenges?
See, it's not actually business people, because we have sharpened our digital journeys faster. We try to do more of digital processes and deployments. We had to redesign our website. We had to redesign our call center working, and we had to redesign our digital products availability and services availability. So those journeys we have started. I would not say we have done a great extent, but we have started those initiatives. Because the digital transformation itself is a big journey itself. So it is taking time for us to come to that level of digitization.
Okay, interesting. Mr. Deepak Sarda, if I may come to you and take the discussion forward a little bit. So what kind of problems still remain to be tackled for your bank, for your kind of bank, for that amalgamated bank? I presume most of the employees are working from office. Are there any that are working from home because the COVID situation is so bad? Do they still face issues? I'm not talking of basic issues like connectivity or things like that, but to get the work happening, to get the business flowing.
I would go in two phases. Phase number one, COVID first lockdown, where nobody was prepared, especially public sector bank, other than having a video conferencing equipment, connecting as and when required, not being used day to day as usual, like a physical meeting. So during first lockdown till now, we had all our board meetings, board agendas, all IT strategy meeting, all the meetings, all the decision making, big decision making has happened sitting remotely because there was no travel allowed, including RBI director. So that is the first change which government itself, where in public sector bank without physical signature, nothing used to move. So now everything is online, and belief and trust has grown leaps and bounds with this. That is first. With respect to when second like lockdown announced, there was some time, like government also had time, and there are so many arguments happening why they could not ramp up the health infrastructure and all. Fortunately, most of the banks have ramped up their all communication equipment with respect to providing work from home facility, not only administrative work like accessing a Word or a PC or a desktop, but doing some credit proposals also by deploying and having the applications which were allowed earlier to function within the intranet. Now it has been exposed to internet with proper security. So now what has happened? There are two things happened. One is systems have been tested. Second, security of the organization has also been tested. So in a way, I will say that work has not stopped. As you know that in public sector bank branches has to open. We are working with 50%, 40%. In my department also, we are a big department, so we have 60% employees working from home. Only thing which comes, which is a cause of nature of the organization, which is the public sector, trust factor within the employee, how they are working, what they are doing, what is the output. That will take some time to come, but I hope the generation what we are having now in banks, public sector banks, that particular problem will also not be there. And as I mentioned that now with second lockdown, we all are fully geared up. Some of the things which we cannot do now also, that may go third, which branch banking is difficult to have from home, but like doorstep banking and all, which is announced as the core agenda, may get implemented sooner or later.
Great, that's great. That's great to see the progress. The challenges have come, and the problems have been solved. May I come to Mr. Reddy and take the discussion one step little ahead. Panelists have mentioned that they've put in more people to handle the situation. So one is, of course, your internal people. Then there's a lot of people available in the IT industry, service providers, product providers, solution providers. What kind of leverage did you do there? In what areas did the outside service providers and technology providers help you during the first phase and second phase of the lockdown?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Manoj. I think it's a very unpredictable situation, but the first phase, it was quite, we were preparing ourselves for the BCP and DR, how we have to meet the business continuity, basically. So in terms of your hardware, in terms of software, in terms of key resources, how they will work, and in terms of shifting from one location to another location, the operations, and testing, continuous testing. So this was the learning from the first phase. However, the second phase is quite challenging, more challenging, because the infection rate has gone up. So the people infected, almost 20 to 30% people have been infected in every department, as I can say. And now there it happened to be, you have to manage the containment, you have to manage the isolation, you have to also manage your office workloads. So it is almost, and it's very challenging the second phase, but at the same time, we have to run the business very smoothly, making, the operations vis-a-vis the security also. So the second phase, ideally, if I look at it, gave a good opportunity, not only me and every organization, it may be a vendors, it may be the entire ecosystem. So they become more resilient actually. I mean, it happens to be in the first phase, there was a 50% attendance. In the second phase, it has come down to 15%. Again, the lockdowns also, in earlier, it was very short period. And now the lockdown has extended to 1 month to 2 months. We don't know how long it will go. Yes. That means that we require more preparedness and more kind of, alertness, vigilant and proactive measures, especially from vendor side. What I look at is that now this access management, this is one of the biggest hurdle for, unless you give access to your infrastructure, the work will not move. So the access management, how you can streamline your access management, because there are a lot of IT hurdles are there. You don't know the person who is asking you, whether you are doing the due diligence to them, how you are doing the due diligence of them. See, sitting somewhere, requests are coming, and your work is also to continue. So you have to do a proper due diligence through the system. So we have developed the system so that we can able to see the posture of the vendor, okay, what exactly, his existing posture he is maintaining, whether can we bring into the control of the bank, so that we have a better visibility of his working. And second, we also the thought of the collaboration with the vendors, because the vendors are giving multiple digital tools where the collaboration can happen, so that our meetings, our other workloads like maintenance of the server and maintenance of the applications and all these things should happen remotely without much physical presence, because right now with the 15% we have to manage the 100%. So that means 85% workload is now moved to work from home. Unless we give that kind of facility, so that that physical presence we have made in such a way that the physical presence is not required. So we have elevated our access in a very secured way and provided multiple access where they require day in day out. And at the same time, we have also made the logistic arrangements in few cases where some immediate requirement is required, some replacement of hardware or some critical kind of thing. We have also asked the vendor to deploy some of the resources at the on-site, so that if anything happens, the on-site resources can take up and continuity can maintain. Also parallelly, because a lot of cloud solutions have come now, so we have also ventured out some of the cloud solutions. I think now the concept of work from home is almost shifting to work from anywhere now. That means we need not to look at what kind of endpoints you have, or whether you have installed antivirus or not, or you have patches you have done. So I think the transformation is happening, that without any hindrance, a person should get access and he should able to do frictionless. I mean, that is the the way forward. The frictionless work culture we have to develop. So that is the new architecture which I think it is happening. So I think it will take some time to mature up, so that it will become totally seamless and automated and frictionless. That means, like we are separated today due to Corona, 6 feet distance, I think probably that gaps will come through this automation and this seamless functioning. I think it will come. I think slowly we have started through the various change management processes, giving access from internal application to external. I mean, making it to internet. So that means it's almost we are separated. Whatever we have inside, it has gone outside. So this is the way we have architecting the new things. and shifting our workloads so that the productivity can increase. The motto behind is that whatever efforts people were putting in the office, the same productivity will continue in future also, and with seamless and without any kind of without any kind of irritation to the staff, because when you ask to do multiple things, so definitely they will have some kind of impulsive nature, to do why I will do reactive kind of thing. So our job is to make them more convenient, more safe, and more kind of productive. So that is the what new architecture we are developing. This is all about from my side.
That's great. Thank you for giving the people and the systems perspective and the vendors perspective also. Since you talked about vendors, let me come to Prajit and ask, what kind of requests or queries are you getting from the financial sector companies? Are they looking more for products? Are they looking more for advice? Are they looking more for resources? What is it that are the most common kind of requirements that VMware, that your BFSI customers are asking you?
Thank you for the question, Manoj. And very nice to hear various viewpoint in terms of how each bank is trying differently to address the challenges that they are having, and how they've already addressed to a lot and extent what they need to do, and working on what needs to be set ahead for the future. So I think Reddy set the agenda in terms of the vision, in terms of what they need to cover. We spoke about something like a frictionless architecture. We spoke about experience. We spoke about the least resistance to an employee and easy onboarding or adoption of technology. All of these are the exact solutions that customers are talking to us. And each bank has its own demand, I would say. Everybody is working on different areas. For some of the bank, as you mentioned, one major common challenge across all the institutes is access management. Access management is clearly coming out as a big requirement everybody is talking about, predominantly because the devices are no longer in the defined perimeters. They are now outside at homes, some are at on premises, and this keeps on changing. So at particular given point in time, banks say that there is a lack of visibility into all my endpoints and what is happening on all the endpoints together. So number one, clearly the demand for access management is coming up across the banks, where they are saying, how can I understand who is my user, from which device is he coming, whether the device is secure, not secure, which network he is coming from, whether the network is allowed, not allowed, and which applications am I allowing him to access, and things like that. So that is creating a strong demand for an access management built in with identity. And that's a clear area that we are seeing demands coming in. Many banks have solved this with the VDI solution. They are introducing VDI solutions for mass usage. And few of the banks have also introduced the facial biometric integration software. Earlier, VDI was anybody could just connect it and start using it. Now they have increased the security layer by enforcing facial biometric. So for example, if I'm sitting on the machine, that machine, the VDI monitors me and authenticates me that I am the right user and I am the same person, and it's not somebody else who is logged into my username, password, and I get off and move on, and somebody else comes and sits. So that those things are removed. Similarly, if somebody is doing a shoulder surfing or coming and standing behind me, my session will be disconnected. So it's a continuous monitoring, and people are also able to measure productivity. How many employees are sitting, how many hours they are working, which applications they are working on. So it's able to give them a lot more telemetry details, and more banks we are seeing are coming out with demands for these set of technologies. And the other set of demands that we see the banks coming up is more on the physical side. That, okay, my VDI use case is anyway met, and I know which my VDI users would be. But there are a lot of my laptop users. How do I onboard my fresh user? So how can I look at giving them a single sign-on? Somebody talked about frictionless management. How do I ensure that if a new user is coming on board and if he is getting Office PC, or even if he is having a BYU, how do I ensure seamless access for that employee to my corporate applications without having him to pick up a phone and call a IT service help desk or the other support staff. One thing you have seen many of them comment that this has increased the demand for IT support staff, in this kind of situation. And various people are trying to do various things based on the existing technologies which they have built over years. But due to the pandemic, it has triggered some very important thought analogies. The first thing which hit us when the pandemic came was about our reaction. What do we do? It's a reaction phase.
Okay.
How do we react? What do I do? The next phase, Tippings, is the respond phase, which we did. Most of the organizations have already done that. Okay, this is the problem. We know it. Let us respond to the problem. So we build VPNs, we build collaborative tools, we put in more staffs to support our teams and do all of that. The question now everybody is asking is, after the second wave and maybe a potential third wave, or maybe people are saying that this could be the norm of future. I mean, in fact, many PSU banks have announced that maybe permanently we might continue with a 30-40% of our staff working from home, whichever units we can afford to do that. Now, if that is the phase, the third phase kicks in, which is rethink. So you reacted, you responded, and now is on the table you're talking about rethink. Now, what is this rethink is? You actually put a blueprint into the phase and think that, do I need to continue to keep on adding these point solutions as and when such things happen? Or do I create a blueprint, which is a self-healing model, a truly anywhere workspace model, so that my employees can get access to the corporate applications wherever they are, through whichever device they are, through whichever network they are. At the same time, I can control the security needed for the banking segment that I'm associated with. So how do I balance the experience bit and the security bit and create a blueprint for the future, integrating security, access management, VDI, and the endpoint management, including MDM solutions all together? And that's exactly what we are seeing demand come from the market.
Very interesting, very interesting. And thank you for giving that increment, the picture that gets bigger and bigger and more meaningful. If I may come to Deepak and ask you, in light of the discussion so far, so in a typical bank or any financial organization, number of business applications keeps on growing, correct? What about the number of tools, non-business tools? Antivirus is a tool, VDI is a tool, VPN is a tool, encryption tool, authentication tool, Active Directory. All these kind of tools are there that are enablers of business applications and to provide the security. Do you see that the set of tools increasing at the same pace as business tools, or are you able to make it, control it to a more meaningful level? Does it make sense to have lots and lots and lots of tools, or a meaningful number of tools? Where is the ideal answer?
Now, I think that this type of situation which is going to come, or it may be because of cyber security threats, which 3-4 years back started, RBI came out with a very exhaustive guideline of setting up of cyber SOC. As a part of cyber SOC, which were a mandatory thing, I think it may be around 23 plus total tools, including various hardware like web, antivirus, AD, all these things have been implemented by almost all the banks, and compliance have been given. On top of that, in case if we want to have a sophistication on top of this, there may be some tools which have come lately, and it has been implemented by various organizations. However, we have observed that other than having a increasing number of licenses for VPN or dual factor authentication, this privileged identity management, all of these were available already. Now, as number of people working from home, which earlier it used to be only for emergency situation, like when Chennai flood has happened, nobody could able to come to data center, so we have to operate from some other place. So like that, it was used. But now it is the order of the day, as mentioned by Mr. Prajit, that is going to be new normal. And I feel that there is no need, as far as we want to run the business for utilizing all the applications, barring few here and there, which may be for strengthening the security further, because as a financial organization, we need to have security and we have to invest on security infrastructure more, which for world standard, we are, as Indian banks, we are spending not that much. in IT as well. So increasing number of tools is not going to help us in any way. Whatever we are having, it has to be fine-tuned and to be made as per the requirement of each individual application. Because all doesn't need all. Some need something, some need something. Accordingly, we have to go. And as a part of amalgamation, we have selected, because both the banks were having different OEMs and different make and different licenses, different redundancies, different capabilities of boxes. So as a part of that, we were at a very good position to select best of that, having a more life remaining support availability and a brand value of that particular and availability of support in India. So as a part of that, amalgamation helped us in having that setup perfectly in place so that we could able to utilize some of the infrastructure of Allahabad Bank and Indian Bank dedicatedly for these VPN arrangements, for WFH or for other things. And all other tools have been used for securing our infrastructure and data.
Okay, interesting. Babitha, if I may come to you and ask you to take this discussion forward, if you look at the next 3 years, let's say, do you see some kind of a rationalization happening in terms of using all these utilities and tools? Or do you see more of them emerging to serve specialized needs? Do you think there'll be a lot of specialized needs? Fewer set of more powerful tools will do the job.
As rightly said by Mr. Deepak, we have to go for this tool based on our requirement, the infrastructure and the need. See, ultimately, we have to run the business. And how we can run the business in a secured way, that is what we have to look into. And my architecture will be different from what other bank might be having. So based on that architecture and my infrastructure need, and how I can secure and how securely I can deliver my business to the doorstep, that is what makes the sense. Just because the other bank is having some tool, I have to procure, it doesn't make any sense. If a bank is having chatbot, I have to see before implementing that technology or AI-based chats and all, I have to see whether that much amount of hit is already there in my website, right? Or whether we are running behind time to meet the requirement of our customer. So based on the analysis and all only, we should finalize on the tool. That is the first thing. And the second thing is, when we are going for this, we have to configure the tool based on the requirement. Just by purchasing the tool doesn't make any sense. If I am having a next-gen firewall or an antivirus, a EDR, whatever, because ultimately banks has to go with the RBI guidelines, and because of that, most of all our banks have all the tools available in the market. But are we using and configuring it in the right way? That is what we have to look into. And managing this tool is another big headache. One tool may not interact with the other one. So how we can make them interact with each other? So that is also a different kind of challenge we are coming up. Then next question, you ask like why it is required? Because in earlier days, we have antivirus only. Every machine's endpoints are protected with antivirus. Now we say that EDR is required for, now even with EDR, now we want to prevent that at the endpoints itself. Earlier, EDR was used from the perspective of forensics. We need the logs. If some incident has happened, we have to analyze that incident, and because that was the need for EDR. Now that concept also has changed. Now with this EDR itself, user behavior analysis, we want to implement at the endpoint level and want to take a preventive action at the endpoint level itself. So now the EDR which are being given by the market players is doing in such a way that AI and user analysis happens at the endpoint level. So then obviously we will think about having that solution rather than just having an AV. And at times when we come with that, we have to go for one more solution, data leakage prevention. Don't you want a DLP solution? Of course, we want a DLP solution. Again, for DLP, we'll be going for an agent at the endpoint for the DLP solution. So like that, and everything. And to have a centralized control and visibility, we are bringing a lot of tools at the endpoint level to get a proper visibility and control. Of course, there is a high challenge because endpoints are getting overloaded with these agents. Even our network is also when EDRs are deployed. We are at many times because of network issue and all, we are not even able to utilize all the features which is being told by the vendor. Many a times we come the physical challenges, operational challenges, wherein even if we are deploying that solution, we are not able to use it to the maximum or what it is expected to be. So all these things are operational challenges in it, and above all these need to be integrated with our SOC for a speedier alert and detection. And SOC also, we have to go with the AI-based SOC. So and a SOAR on top of it to have a refined and produce less false positive things. So this is really a digital world evolving daily, and we have to be updated with that because one tool is coming with a different purpose and the other tool is coming with another purpose. If we try to all into one, sure whether the OEM or the vendor will be capable enough to handle all. So that's a different question which always arises. Even if we are having an EDR, we are still reluctant to leave AV. No, we should have AV. AV is a must. We are with that concept. Unless and until we have a confidence that this tool will be enough or this can take care of this particular thing, then only we can rule out the old tools and come up with a new one alone. So that also needs time, and we have to learn because this user behavior analysis and all, it takes some time for the system itself to learn what is happening. So during that time, we have need all the old solutions in place because they are the one who was guarding us till date.
Right.
Evolutionary way only we can adopt these technologies. And of course, as a CISO, I always believe in multi-layered thing. If one layer is not able to identify the threat, the next layer should catch it. So I even if the number of agents is or things are coming high, but for the time being, we have to go with it. And this digitalization, with this digitalization and the new normal and all, attack vectors every day, we are seeing some lot of the kind of attacks which is happening day by day. And so we have to be prepared for it and have to think big like an attacker, have to secure our system.
Great. Thank you, Babitha. Very comprehensive explanation. A lot of details. This part of the video is worth watching again later on. But let me come to, you have raised very interesting points. So let me come to Mr. Ratan Kumar and then to Mr. Reddy to ask you one very simple question. If you can give me a very simple answer. Using all this set of tools and utilities and infrastructure enablers, are you able to, do you still need a lot of people to deliver, the efficiency, the service, the IT enablement, the problem solving, or are you able to bring it down every year over the last 3-4 years, the number of people who are, facilitating all this, whether it is user problems or just preparing the solution that works efficiently? How serious is the problem, Mr. Kumar?
Yeah, thank you. I would say, I would put it in a different way. It's not the people are reducing or something like that, but the skills and technologies are different. And though with these technologies, we are able to cater to large number of users in particular, but still the roles have become changed. I mean, IT, the responsibilities have increased tremendously. If you are saying, as far as IT is concerned, I'm required to add more and more people and more skill sets and more new roles to add to it. So IT, it is in expansion mode, whereas in some other places, obviously, we are able to reduce the staff.
Okay. Mr. Reddy, what is your observation, your analysis?
Yeah, I would like to say that there is in economics, it's a demand and supply. So I think the way we are progressing and the kind of adoption of technology is happening, I don't think so. When the demand curve is very high, and probably the resources will also be required with good skill set. Rather than I can say that earlier people used to have some kind of skill set manageable, but today the new advent of new technologies which are coming up like AI, ML, blockchain, or that NLP, 5G technology, and all these things required. These are all the new things to happen. I think new skill sets that the old people, it's like they should also cope up, go with a new kind of thing. So people is a basic requirement. I think it is not a curtail whatever technology we adopt. And interestingly, one of my discussion was going on AI, and it happened to be my son. He's just 10 years old. He asked a question that you are discussing to a subject whether you'll become jobless after some time, whether the robots will take control. Interestingly, I explained, you see, the road is too ahead. I mean, robots can take control. I don't say that robot can take control, but the human, is the very powerful on the earth. He can do so. So the resources, I don't think so. It is going to come down. That demand is going in a upper side. So the kind of resources also it will go proportionately, rather than there is no imbalance. If imbalance is there, I think probably we will not talk anything. I think all machine will talk. So since since we are talking, so definitely I think we should look forward that to make technology more productive and more result oriented. What we are doing, they should do more intelligently, more value addition to the organization. So I think every organization, they are looking forward with the new technologies, and the technologies will also grow, and as well as the people, the infrastructure, everything will grow. It's not like that. See, if you look at today, the cloud has come. So in earlier the discussion that cloud will now take over, the hardware. Yes, it has come down drastically. It has come down, but it has not come down to that level what is expected. See, I mean, still we have that hybrid models are there. One cloud, we are moving to another cloud, because our requirement is not so uniform. Every day our requirement is also changing. We want, mobile, one cloud. We want, our web-based application, one cloud. We want our application, I mean, it's related, some, data related thing. We put another cloud. So our requirements also growing like anything. So it's not, it may be on compliance side, or it may be on security side, or it may be on our usage side. So we always look the things in a very different way. So that indifferent kind of things gives a choice and chance to grow everyone together. So I think everyone will grow together rather than there is no ups and downs. I feel personally.
You have very beautifully explained that the demand is increasing, and also that the variety of solutions, 4G, 5G, AI, ML, whatever else is increasing. So in height and width, both there is increase. So let me ask Prajit now, as a technology company, you're obviously creating, VMware and all other companies are creating technologies to meet those needs. But as our participants have said, they don't just want the needs to be met, they want it to be met efficiently. They cannot keep adding human resources or any other kind. Economics was raised as an issue. And that a CIO, CTO, CISO should also understand economics. So how is your company, how is your industry as such making these solutions more easy to use, in the sense they don't require so much administration, so much overhead, some kind of automation within, some kind of, make it easy to use. Like in a car, you have automatic transmission. So, it really makes a car driving easy. What kind of automatic transmission are you bringing into your solutions so that all these people can use it more efficiently?
Absolutely. This is a great question, and this is something that VMware loves to address. And this is an area where VMware has truly revolutionized both the technology needed at the data center and the technology needed at the client side. It's very interesting because most banks anyway have transformed a lot of distance with VMware. They are using various tools of VMware at the data center, creating their own private cloud, created a hybrid cloud, a mix of environment. They kind of revolutionized the networking. They bought network virtualization. They bought micro-segmentation. They have done a lot. And in fact, now with our new platform of application development or modernizing the application through Tanzu, many banks are even evaluating Tanzu for creating new agile applications. It's a building platform. So a lot of these things are happening on the data center side. The time is now come where the bank also consolidates on the client side. When I talk about client side, is everything about devices. What are the devices you have? Whether it is PCs, whether it is laptops, whether it is mobile phones, whether it is tablets, whether you want to do BYO, or tomorrow you want to bring in kiosk or robotics or any other platforms that you want to add to the table. How are you going to govern this huge amount of device variety and on different networks? As you rightly mentioned, 4G, 5G, somebody still on 2G, LAN, Wi-Fi, you name it. I mean, it's a mix of all those technologies. And if you will allow me, I'll just present a slide which gives a picture of what VMware is truly, dialing and giving this futuristic view. I'm not sure if I have the permission to share the screen. Okay, now let me give this live scenario to all of you. You will be able to relate with this very easily and in all your requirements. Okay, now let us assume, here we have given a very imaginary name called Acme. Let us assume that this is Acme Financial Services or Acme Bank or any of the financial institutions. Okay. Now, what is the scenario? We all know that banks always were operating in a very close-knit, hardened, completely secure infrastructure with all your applications on-prem, all the data centers on-prem. And this was the typical mode. All your users here controlled. And as Babitha mentioned, using multiple layers and tools of security, antivirus, DLP, web filtering, you name it, all of this controlled and trying to protect this infrastructure completely. This used to be the world before March 2020, right? And slowly what did happen is you started looking, okay, I'm a bank, I'm almost 90% on-prem only, but maybe let me explore some bit of cloud. So you started using some bit of Microsoft Office 365 because Microsoft also said that, they are stopping the on-prem support and everything is going to the cloud. They pushed Office 365. You started exploring SFDC, you started exploring web apps, you started publishing your own intranet apps on web to be made available through web for easy access. So the banks, while they are predominantly secure on-prem, also started using these cloud applications, both public cloud as well as their own intranet-based application. What happened simply after March 2020? All the infrastructure that you had over here suddenly jumped from here to outside. They are now completely outside. And what are they? Every bit of devices that you can think of. It can be mobile phone, can be tablets, can be thin clients, can be your MacBook, can be your iOS, can be your wearable kiosk, you name it. It could be various set of users that people have done. Where are these devices now? Not inside your perimeter. These devices are now completely outside. And where are they coming from? They would come from a home Wi-Fi. They could be on a home network. They could be on a branch or an airport network or a hotel, or it could be different offices, branch offices, LAN WAN. Now look at the classic dilemma. The banks or matter any institute. One, when it was available centrally, you had full visibility. What are your devices? Are all the devices patched? When you take a dashboard, you will get full view. You would know that when was this device patched last? When was this device patched last? You will have full visibility when this was under the perimeter. But today's reality is that everything is now outside. Now, how are these guys connecting? To make things work, what you have done is you have given them VPN. You have just given them VPN because what is happening is VPN gives you the connectivity so that all these users are connected to your system. But what has VPN done on the other side or the risk side is that VPN is also a high risk item because the moment you connect a VPN to any of your device and you allow it to connect your data center, that device becomes a part of your data center. It is tunneled and this becomes an extension of your data center. And for God forbid, if for some reason your device is not updated, not patched, then whatever vulnerabilities is available on this, you are making your entire data center vulnerable with just allowing them a VPN access. And that is the reason why you see an increased amount of ransomware attacks, hacks, and all those things coming, because most people, to make things easy, have given VPN and allowed the connectivity, but without ensuring the detailed telemetry needed in terms of the device posture, networking, identity, access mechanism in place. And this is exactly what VMware is trying to solve with this, understanding this report. So what did VMware do? VMware bought a unified endpoint management. It is a platform which unifies multiple tools, and it gets you the asset details, visibility to all your devices, including the applications they have, what was the patch level, when did they last patch, where are they coming from, all those details is available. So once these devices get enrolled into VMware Workspace ONE, that is my tool, I know complete visibility of all these devices. And it does not matter whether these devices are part of your domain or they are residing in different homes across different cities. It doesn't matter to me. I am able to catch all of this over the net and I get all these details. What I am also able to capture is which network are they coming from? Is this network allowed? Is this IP addresses allowed to be connected? And I also look at what is the ID who is coming in, what is the user ID connected over here. What we have intelligently added and brought into the table is our futuristic vision, where we have also integrated a Carbon Black. Carbon Black is nothing but our next generation antivirus and EDR solution. And this is what, as Babitha was mentioning, that you need a solution both at an antivirus level and also at an EDR level. And we are delivering both of that capability. So with Carbon Black, we also got the common vulnerability database. And what VMware has done is we have created a partnership ecosystem which is open to all the security vendors, be it Palo Alto, be it Checkpoint, Trend Micro, you name it. We are kind of building this common infrastructure so that all the security communities can feed in their vulnerabilities updates. And this common vulnerability database is pumped into Workspace ONE UEM. Now, what I have the benefit is my system already knows what is your devices, what operating system it is running on, what is the level of patching this has got, who is accessing, who is the user, which network he is coming from. And I also have the details of vulnerabilities. Now imagine if there is any future vulnerability coming which is fed into it, and it comes to me that, okay, there is a new vulnerability detected on, let's say, a SQL 8.x version. Can you ensure that this patching is done for all your devices? Now, if this device was in your data center like earlier days, you would at least have got a visibility to how many of the SQL 8 versions are running in your machine, and you would have told your IT infra team to patch it. But now you have no visibility. You have visibility only for those systems which are connected over a VPN at a point in time. If few of the devices are not connected on a VPN, you will not get visibility. You will not even know when were they patched last. With our solution, we are able to get the latest update, what is the level of patches they are having, which user is coming from which network, and UEM will be able to auto remediate. So what we are bringing to a table is not just detection and giving you guidance. I am also building a layer of automation by auto remediation. Workspace ONE will automatically patch those 200 machines on that SQL 8.x and remediate that vulnerability over there. And what is it that I'm doing more? What is it that I'm doing for future? Now, here is the scenario. I'm already doing ID access management. I'm already doing device posture. I'm ensuring that if a device is vulnerable, he should not be allowed to connect. He will not be allowed access to connect. If my user is not registered, he will not be able to connect. If my device is not enrolled with Workspace ONE, he will not be able to connect. If my VDI is not registered and authorized through a particular network, he will not be able to connect. So I'm restricting that. I am also adding multi-factor authentication if you need. All is part of my solution. My solution is also including multi-factor authentication. So the entire access management with authorization is delivered to me through my Reddy available solution. We also know that India is a land of uncertain bandwidth and last mile. And because of that, customers are asking, how do I deliver QoS? How do I ensure that my home network also gets the right amount of application? Today, what is happening? These guys are connected over the VPN, so that we just allowed users to connect to the integrated story over here with access mechanism, and they will get also an SD-WAN capability from here so that the QO is enabled. And we are also integrating web filtering, CASB, cloud access gateway, integrating with vendors like Zscaler and Menlo to give you all those services, and even distributed firewall and IDS for your requirement. So in short, we are helping all the organization consolidate number of tools they were using, reduce them so that they can better manage, bring in more automation so that they can reduce cost, and also bring in efficiency so that they can manage the solutions better. And this is exactly what we give with an overall view, that look at the multiple tools that every one of you must be using. You will be using patch management, a different tool for MacBook, a different tool for single sign-on, a different tool for multi-factor, different tool for encryption, different tool for VPN. What we are telling is you do not need to use VPN anymore. You can retire VPN. It's a complete VPN-less architecture, and you can either use a VDI if you want to, or use the VMware's modern workspace one with security inbuilt, which will do all these solutions for you and reduce your overall cost at least by 30%. That's what I want to leave the audience with, the pitch that I wanted to make.
Thank you for that very comprehensive picture, Prajit. Which do you think is going to be a bigger challenge? What to do or how to do? I'll repeat my question. Which do you think it is? Earlier, it is always what to do, because now I think technology is really becoming so mature that perhaps there may be a change. So I want your expert opinion. What to do versus how to do? Which is, do you think, the bigger challenge in the next 1 or 2 years? Mr. Reddy.
See, now we are moving towards, hyper automation now. So I think it's a new phenomena. I think we are talking automation till today. And the COVID has given a learning hyper automation. So hyper automation means we have to integrate everything together. Like our Mr. Prajit told that everything is bringing in one umbrella. It may be your security solutions and everything. That means both the question what to do and how to do, if such technology evolves and such technology comes up quickly and tested and proved, I think how to do and what to do will be the easiest way to handle for all of us. So I don't think so such technologies to get quickly. I mean whatever we say that if everything in one place and it's like a jumbo, the package. Earlier we say that package. So if that package comes, and probably we need not worry what to do and how to do. It will happen automatically. So that hyper automation is going to come now. I think we need not to worry whether I will choose a vendor, I will choose a tool, or I will choose a endpoint. I will choose, everything will be managed centrally. So I think this centralization and this integration and the management and everything, if it comes together, so I think there is no question towards that how to do and what to do. Both will sync together. I think the journey will be very smooth, and people will achieve what they aim to be done. So I think it's a good journey. I think the technology partners has to come forward. Yeah.
So you're painting a very optimistic picture that both what and how will be easier to manage.
Yeah, I think the shift is obviously, I think now how to do a lot of technology solutions, as you rightly put. There are a lot of solutions available, but then what all we need to do and how do we do it, I think that is going to be equally important, I would say. And I must compliment Prajit for the wonderful explanation. I think it's very lucid explanation.
Mr. Deepak Sarda, what is your understanding? How versus what to do?
Now there are two parts to it. One is providing all services with respect to, I'm talking about with respect to banking, urban, metro, semi-urban, we can able to reach, we can provide whatever is required, we can do whatever is to be done by using technology. But when it comes to remote areas where maybe class C and below cities, where still people are not tech savvy and it may take some time, So reaching them, how to reach through technology, and how many services more to offer. Presently, like DC model is being used where minimum services are being offered. So how to offer all such services through doorstep banking or using technologies or using POS devices, micro POS, micro ATMs. So this is going to remain a challenge. At the end, security is going to play a major role. How we are going to protect our infrastructure. Now, government is also emphasizing to move towards cloud as a part of their journey for taking the business forward. So I hope that there are going to be everything. It's a mix, going to be mixed. But ultimately, yes, how we are going to reach out to the rural masses is going to be a challenging task going forward. With respect to number of services and providing everything is again depending on connectivity and the way private players are yet to reach in all the remotest place. It's only BSNL. They are also struggling because of capex. So challenges are there. Maybe in next 2-3 years we will be knowing how it is going to be used and taken forward by all the stakeholders.
You beautifully segmented, the urban versus the urban side and the rural side. The how becomes one side and the what becomes the other side. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Babitha, your closing thoughts, how versus what?
See, I don't think how question is now relevant to banking sector because already we have explored, or it means like explored the way of even doorstep banking and micro ATMs at the rural areas, and with through the mobile POS machines, we are giving the payments to the very rural, urban, rural areas of the villages and all. So we have reached to all the people, and now banking is in the mobile. Google Pay and everything is there. None of the people are not going to the grocery store and paying money. They are doing through the Google Pay or some app which is being provided. So already we have explored that. Now we have to check how securely we are doing that payment gateway to the, or how we are delivering in the payment gateway to the customers in a secured way. So that is the challenge that we have to foresee. And whenever we are talking about the cloud or what are all infrastructure we are going to adopt, only thing what we have to keep in mind is we cannot transfer our responsibility to this place. It is ultimately who will have to face it if a crisis comes. So before going for any product or solution, we should be aware of what is our requirement, whether it will it should be properly tested, it should be properly, we should have a thorough knowledge of the security aspects and visibility of the solution before deploying it, because if something goes wrong, it is the bank's brand or the bank's customers are going to be have to face the sufferings, rather than, and we won't tell that because of this solution it has gone this way. So that is a thought we should have in our mind before going for any solution. And so without digitalization, nothing is going to happen. We are already in the world of digital world. Only thing, how we can provide secured service to the customers in a hassle-free world.
Okay.
That is what.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I would like to conclude here by saying, and thank you all for a very wonderful discussion. But it's very clear that the banking community and the IT community both know what is the roadmap ahead, what to do for rural customers, what to do for urban customers, what to do make things more efficient, what to make things, if there is a third wave, fourth wave, this wave, that wave. I think in that sense, that maturity I'm seeing from this discussion, and that gives me as an individual person, as a consumer of financial services, a lot of confidence that our financial sector, our banking sector is in good hands. The vision is clear, what to do is clear, how to do it is clear. So thank you all very much for that wonderful discussion, for bringing that clarity. And I thank you all very much and wish you all the best. And let's hope we get out of this waves and problems as early as possible with God's blessing. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe.
Thank you.